And we're live. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rira, and on behalf of Vroman's Bookstore, welcome to our virtual presentation of Daddydaughter Day, a picture book written by Isabelle Bridges-Boesch and illustrated by her father and actor Jeff Bridges. Before I properly introduce Isabelle, I do have some quick announcements for everyone. We will be taking audience questions for this event, and to submit your questions, just use the Ask a Question button at the very bottom of the screen. You should also be able to vote for any questions you like. So click on the up arrow and they will make their way to the very top of the list. Also, please consider supporting our bookstore today by purchasing a copy of tonight's featured book, Daddydaughter Day. You can do so by clicking on the green purchase button directly below the viewer's screen. And Vroman's Bookstore is 126 years old and is the oldest independent bookstore in Southern California. It is thanks to generous patrons and avid readers like yourselves who keep our doors open. And let me introduce our guest of honor, and then we can get started. So Isabelle Bridges-Boesch is a change maker and mother's empowerment coach who is committed to making meaningful contributions that create a positive impact in this world by redesigning what it means to be a mom. She facilitates various mothering circles both locally and virtually. Welcome, Isabelle.
Hi, so good to be here with you.
Oh, we're so happy that you're here with us. So I heard that you wanted to do a reading of your book. So let me put you on full screen.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. What an honor to be here with you in this virtual way. Today, I'm going to be reading Daddydaughter Day. And my dad and I started this project about 5 years ago. So it's been a long coming and quite an adventure in and of itself. And I'll talk a little bit more about that after the reading. Feel free to ask your questions in below, and hopefully we will get to them all. One day, Belle woke up with a great idea. Guess what, Daddy? What? Do you know what day today is? Sunday? What else? It's a holiday, the best holiday in the world. What holiday is that, sweetheart? Daddydaughter Day. I did not know that. And what happens on Daddydaughter Day? We have adventures. We play. What are you doing? Celebrating Daddydaughter Day? I want to come. No brothers allowed. Sammy's lips began to quiver and his eyes went like this. You're mean. What do you want to do? You pick. How about we play with some clay? How about we get dressed first? Good idea, Daddy. First things first. Wear something festive. I'll meet you by our special tree. It's not fair, Mom. I know. Meanwhile, love the red pants. I'm going to make some dishes for Dolly. Cool. What are you going to make? I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. Can I help with the dishes? Sure. Do you think this cup is too big for Dolly? Well, kinda, but you know, it could be a, what's that on your face? What? You see that thing on his face? Clay! Hey, you just gave me a great idea. Yeah? Beauty parlor! Gotta get my stuff. And she runs to get her stuff. Pretty daddy. Now what? Circus! And up on the shoulders, tightrope walking on the crack, throwing, spinning, shot out of a cannon. Wanna play? Yeah, sing the circus song, Mom. And Mom began to sing. And the tricks began to begin. Ta-da, ta-da, to-do, ta-da, to-do. Here's to you. Oh, it's gonna boil over. Uh-oh. Where's Mom going? Mom's always taking care of something, huh? Where are you going? Ah, my soup. You want to have a picnic? It's my Daddy-Daughter Day. Yeah, I know. Do you want to have a picnic? What do we use for food? You don't need real food. Yeah, I know that. Sammy, I need your help. Stay, Sammy. You make the best mud pies. Belle, I gotta go. Mom needs me. Here's some grass, huh? For the grass soup. Cool, let's get cooking. Here's something neat. Look at this cool bug. No bugs in the soup, Dad. Put him back. Okay. But look at him. He's so cool. How about some rocks? Sure. Put them in. We're going to need some water. It'd be cool if we had real food, would it? Yeah, because I'm kind of hungry and tired. Tired? Well, let's rest. Hey, maybe Daddy-Daughter Day has a nap time part. Nap time part? Yeah, you know. Dinner time. Come and get it, you Daddy-Daughter Dayers. Perfect timing. Yeah, we better wash our hands. You're just full of good ideas like Daddy-Daughter Day. What a great holiday. Daddy? Yeah? I miss you when you're gone. I'll miss you then too, Belle. Hey, I've got a cool idea. Yeah? After dinner, after you tuck me in and I'm asleep, let's meet at our dreaming tree. It's a deal. And Daddy? Yeah? I think you ought to wash your face too. You're looking kind of weird. After Belle and Daddy shared the grass rock soup they made, after they ate the delicious dinner that Sammy and Mommy made, after Daddy tucked Belle in, sang Belle her favorite lullaby, and kissed her goodnight, it was Daddy's bedtime, and time for the last adventure of Daddydaughter Day. And that's it. We've been having Daddydaughter Days ever since.
That was a lovely reading. So I'm sure everyone is curious, how did this book journey begin? How did the inception come about for this book?
Well, I guess the inception started years ago when I was Belle and would have, it wasn't the full daddy-daughter day like is depicted in the book, to be fully transparent, but we would have these fun daddy-daughter day moments, I would say. So that's really the impulse of the book, is to share the love that I felt during that time with my dad growing up. But the book started when I was about a year postpartum with my son, Benjamin, who's 5 now. And I just had that urge to be creative. I didn't have a lot of time. I was caring for 2 young kids. And so I decided to start writing short stories for children. And so I wrote several of them. And one of them was Daddydaughter Day. And I read it to my dad. And he said, we should turn this into a book. And I said, okay. And he said, I will illustrate it. You be the author. And, 4.5 years later, here we are. It happened.
I find it really sweet that your father was like, I will be the illustrator. Like, he didn't give you the option to hire another illustrator. It was going to be a strict daddy-daughter collaboration. I love it.
I just want to touch on that because that has really come through in my relationship with my dad. I think it comes through in the book too. It's Daddy-Daughter Day, which is really, when your daughter is a child, it's about the child, right? But I remember distinctly my dad wanting to play and wanting to be the playmate and wanting to join me in the joy of childhood. And he continues to do that with me and my own, now we have an adult version of that. He definitely does that with his grandkids. And even in this project, he wanted to be the support, right? But he also is committed to his own joy. And he wanted to play with me, So I think it's important to note that he claimed illustrator. I didn't ask him to do the job. He wanted it for himself. Yeah.
Has he always been an illustrator? Like, has he doodled a lot in the past? And what did you think about his illustrations?
Well, when I look at this book, it feels like home to me because I grew up with these doodles. I grew up with this handwriting. He was gone a lot when I was a kid for months. And he would send home letters, but drawings, pictures of where he was or pictures of me on my horse. Or he'd draw half a picture and he'd want me to draw the other half, and then we'd send it back and forth to finish the picture. So these drawings, are not just illustrations in a book. To me, they're home. They're like, they feel cozy and warm and like comforting to me because they're so familiar. Yeah.
I mean, it comes through in the drawings, definitely. There's good questions from Linda. And for those of you who are just tuning in to ask a question, just use the ask a question button at the very bottom of the screen. And Linda asks, I remember your dad saying that his mom gave each of her kids 1 hour a day with her. They could choose the activity. Did Daddy-Daughter Day come from her idea?
I think my dad had a really special relationship with his mom. And she loved being a mom and loved spending that time with her kids. And he definitely did not spend 1 hour a day with each of his children. Nor I think did he want to, but he regrets not having spent more time with us as a kid, especially having been so nourished by that time with his mom. But his dad was also gone a lot, like he was. So he understands the importance of the parent being present with the child. And he also got my experience of my dad wasn't around and his dad wasn't around. So I think you're onto something. I think he wanted, it's on this, I grew up with two younger sisters. The Belle in the book grows up with a younger brother. And I think it was a dive into what would it have been like. It's not an autobiography, but it's an exploration of what would it have been like if we had spent an entire day together.
Speaking of siblings, Tracy asks, I like how he included the thread of sibling rivalry into the story. It felt familiar as a sibling myself. Are there any suggestions for juggling that as a parent?
Oh man, I have a daughter and a son, and they're 4.5 years apart, and man, do they fight. And also the love between those two is just astonishing. So I would say that I'm not an expert on sibling rivalry. Like I said before, have two younger sisters who I fought with mercilessly. It was, and we still, butt heads to this day. And they are my greatest confidence, and that relationship is irreplaceable. So what I'll say about the sibling rivalry is, what I do is I really talk to my kids about that their relationship is not like any other. No one else, Benjamin, will know you for as long as Grace has known you. She's known you her whole life. She talked to you while you were in my belly, and she has loved you for your whole life, and also we are, those siblings are often the safe place to be our messy selves. So I think I don't think sibling rivalry is bad. I think it's a place to learn how to communicate. And I do believe it's the parents' responsibility to teach healthy communication styles and also to model it. So if the parents are screaming at each other, it's likely that the children will do that as well. Something that I do a lot with my own kids is repair. So not a perfect parent. I would never claim to be anywhere near a perfect parent. And what I do quite often is repair and say that was wrong and I'm sorry and I won't do it again. And is there anything that you want to say about how hard that was for you? And then I hear my daughter, especially towards my son, say, I shouldn't have taken your toy away. I'm sorry. So that really warms my heart that I'm teaching them through modeling rather than say sorry to your brother,
Yeah, that's a definitely great advice for parents out there with children who have some fierce sibling rivalry. It's not bad, but respect and having boundaries is great.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned having a healthy relationship with your children, I'm just curious, do you believe that what a parent needs to have a healthy relationship with themselves in order to have better understanding with their children?
Oh my gosh, it's like you were in my head.
Oh.
I was just having this conversation with both of my parents today. And I was saying to my mom, I haven't seen my parents in, months and months, as, many of us haven't. And my relationship with my mom has had its highs and lows, right? That mother-daughter relationship. Maybe that'll be the next book, mother-daughter day. But it's been a little bit, wobbly. And I have been doing a lot of inner work on myself. And I saw her today, and she immediately criticized something about me. And I had this wash of just endearment towards my mom, because I know that it comes from a place of love. She doesn't mean it to be offensive. And in the past, it was so offensive, it would have impacted our entire short time together. But because I've been working on myself, it didn't land. It was like water off a duck's back. And so that's exactly like what you're saying is and I'm an adult now, right? I'm not a child, but rather than blame my mom for her faults and for, damaging me, I'm saying, you know what? I'm a powerful person. I'm going to do the inner work so that there's no receptor sites for that criticism. And it works, you guys. It really works. And so my greatest hope for my children, because I'm not a perfect parent, none of us are, is to teach them emotional intelligence, to teach them that they are powerful, that they are in charge of their own perception. And that, I'm again modeling that verbally and like talking them through my own experience. Because, we're all going to mess up, and we're all going to do damage to our children. I think the hope is that we minimize that damage, especially going forward.
So we have another question from Tracy. I love the imagination and play the father and daughter share in the book. What does imagination and play mean to you in life as an individual and as a parent?
Oh, what a good question. Yeah. To me, imagination is around what's possible. And playing with the possibilities of what we're creating. And what an amazing time to be in that place of play. We're in a worldwide pandemic. For me, it really feels like a tumultuous time. And yet I also feel very much in transition, which, those of my fellow parents out there, transition, even the small transitions with children, from like putting your shoes on to, getting outside, that transitions can be difficult. And I feel that we are in a massive transition right now, and I don't like it. Like, I feel like my inner child is having her own tantrum. Like, I don't want to put my shoes on. I just want to be on the other side. So, what I have found in those moments of transition, like getting your shoes on to go outside, is bringing in play and imagination is so helpful. So, I have little kids. So like, I'm a little shoe and I'm so hungry. Can I eat your hand? No. Can I eat your nose? No. Can I eat your foot? And then they laugh. Yeah, you can finally put my shoe on, And so taking that into the broader picture of this big, massive transition that we are as a, planet, how can we bring play and imagination and creativity in? And these children that are growing up right now, like creativity is necessary. It's not a luxury. They're the future, which is it's going to be so different. So as we transition, that's what I keep saying. That's like my mantra, is like, do not contract, stay loose, be playful, like even and especially when it's hard and crunchy and I don't like it, like how can I still have some levity to this like very dark time?
Yeah, I think play and imagination is definitely important now during pandemic times, and I think it really does help with not being too hard on yourself. I think everyone can do with some forgiveness and for some room to play. Um, so your book is about how you can make an ordinary day special with a loved one. And during this time where families are separated and can't give hugs or even be in the same house, do you have any tips, any activity ideas that families can do to make their own special daddy daughter, mother son, or whatever family day?
Well, any of the activities in this book are great. You know, playing circus. My kids love to climb on me and climb on their dad, right? Or, do each other's hair or makeup or, whatever it is. So those are all good ideas to do with our families. Something that the Bridges have done, meaning, my family and my two sisters and their partners and my parents, every Sunday we get on Zoom and we talk for, an hour, however long my kids can stand it. And my kids will play music for them, or we'll all sing a song over Zoom, which is just awful, right? But then it's funny. Or we play categories, which is such a fun game to play over Zoom. Have you heard of categories?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very competitive game.
Yeah. Look it up. It's fun, Yeah, it's fun to be competitive and we argue over that doesn't count, but it's all in good fun. Or Pictionary is a fun game to play over Zoom, or charades even. So, yeah.
Was game time a family tradition that you've had before, or is that like a new tradition?
I love that question. Growing up, we didn't play a lot of games, but we certainly played. So I remember Christmas was a big holiday in the Bridges house. I'm one of 13 cousins, and we would all go over to my grandparents' house. And before dinner, we had to perform. So we were asked to perform for our dinner. So there were, there would be scripts written and, 5 directors, and, we would all go out in our matching Christmas outfits and have to like perform a song and a dance and a skit before we could have dinner, the 13 of us. So I would say that performance was rather than board games,
was a family tradition that got passed down. That
Yes.
sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Are there any adventures or moments you wish you could have added into the book?
It's in the book, but I think it would have been interesting to explore it a little bit more. The part where Belle says, I miss you when you're gone, Daddy. And he says, I miss you too. I think it could have been interesting to expand on that, because I know a lot of kids resonate with missing their parents when they're gone, even if it's just for the day. Yeah.
I mean, when you're a kid, time flows differently, like,
Exactly right.
A day could feel like a week to a kid. So,
and it's also so relevant to today. I read just those 2 lines, and I feel a lot of emotion even now, like, I miss you, Dad. Like, I really miss my parents a lot. So I think there's so many layers to that.
Do you have a favorite memory of Daddy Daughter Day with your father? whether it was as a kid or like now as an adult?
I mean, just today, seeing him today was so wonderful. He and I have this really dynamic, I think, unique, special relationship. We're both interested in some of the same things. But from a kid perspective, I remember one day he and I took our horses into the mountains for hours, and we had a picnic, and it rained, and it was this magical time where it was just he and I. My sisters weren't there, my mom wasn't there. We were in nature. We were somewhere neither of us had ever been before, on these big animals. It was a little bit scary, but it was so memorable. And then a couple years ago, my dad painted me a picture of a painting of the two of us on the hill with our horses, and it's just really captures it. So.
That's really sweet. There's a question on here that says, "Is the dreaming tree a real thing from your childhood?"
Yes! Oh my gosh, the dreaming tree is real. But I mean, it's like really real, you guys. We still meet at the dreaming tree. And I want to gift this tree to everyone here because it's so special. So, you know, he was gone for months on end, and he would say, you know, he would call, and before we said goodnight, we would make a plan. Okay, this is the tree that we're going to meet in, and then we're going to fly. And then we decide what adventure we're going to fly to. And we flew in this very special way. And it was planned, like we had to discuss it. So he'd say, you know, do you want to fly like this, or do you want to fly like this? And I said, I want to fly like this. And, you know, because there's a lot of fun in the planning of an adventure. It's fun to be on the adventure, but especially for kids, right? I know my kids, half the play is the plan, and then they like do it for like 2 minutes, right? So they decide like what they're going to do and where they're going to go and what they're going to wear, and their dolls are, planning, and then they put the clothes on the doll, and then they are like done. So we would do that, and then the next day we'd have a conversation. Oh, did you see that big lion? And it had this big voice, and I could understand what it was saying, and it told me this joke. And so then we'd be able to play out the adventure that we had in our imaginations. And it enabled us to be together even when we weren't together.
That's so sweet. Yeah. And that's so creative.
And we can do that with anyone. We can do that with our friends or our parents or our kids. Yeah.
So I'm curious, how has your relationship with your parents progressed from when you were a kid and playing all of these fun games with clay and circusing to a teenager with hormones, and then to an adult with kids yourself?
What's the question? How did it transition?
Yeah, how did it transition? How did it change, I guess, over the years?
Well, this is the way I'll answer a question that you didn't ask, which is how didn't it change? Because at least for my parents, my dad has always been the playmate, and my mom has been, she lays down the law, right? And so I remember being in high school, and my sister and I, Jessie, she's 2 years younger than I am. She and I had this great idea to get our tongues pierced.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, God. Right. Is right. And Susan Bridges, man, you do not want to mess with her. We came home from this sister adventure, which was very sweet, actually. I mean, teenage sisters are not always great friends. And so this was a bonding moment for us, and we, did it together. And we get home and call my mom down from upstairs and say, Mom, you have to promise to still love us. And we stick our tongues out, and she lost it, right? And I guess that's just an example of my dad would have like come with us if he had been in town and like enabled us, and he would have gotten his tongue pierced with us, and my mom is like, no, you were removing those piercings. And so, and it's, it was like that as little girls, and it's like that today, like my mom still, if we're going to go for a walk on the beach, she still wants me to wear my hat. And my dad's like, yeah, whatever, And now that I'm a mom, I get it. My sisters don't get it because they don't have kids yet. I am the, daddy, my husband, he's the playmate. And I am the one who's like, you got to do your homework. You got to, wear your seatbelt. You got to do all, I'm taking care of like their bodily functions and their needs of their body, right? Feeding them, eat your greens, all this stuff. So I just think it's interesting. It's like biological. I can't help myself. I understand my mom so much more now than I did before having kids. Like I get it. She's always going to worry about me. It's not like I'm a grown up, so she's not going to worry about me. I get it now. Yeah.
I mean, worrying is a type of love language too. So
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of your mother, do you have any interest in writing a book about moms in the future?
You know what? I have so many. I
Oh,
would
you
like
do?
to do so many things, right? I work with moms because when I became a mom, I felt like I lost a part of myself. And I learned how to, recapture, reclaim that lost self. And so I feel really passionate about working with moms specifically. Also, just women who feel like they have given parts of themselves away to take care of someone else. So I don't work as a parenting coach. It's not around parenting. It's around like motherhood is one of the roles that we play, but it doesn't have to define all of who you are. So I think I can see a book about that in my future for sure. Yeah.
Okay. It seems like we are winding down in time. So if you guys have last minute questions, now is the time to type them in. But for now, my question to you, Isabelle, is what do you hope families who will be reading this book during the holidays take away from it?
I would say time, like that quality time is so meaningful because none of us are promised tomorrow. And that it doesn't have to be a full day. It doesn't even have to be like a super long time, but just to be with the people that we love in their way is such a gift. So if you have a loved one who really likes to knit, the idea, I'm hoping that it comes through in the book, is to be with our loved ones the way they receive that nurturing. So in the book, the daughter wants to have an adventure doing all these different ideas. But if your kid wants you to play video games with them, then can you just give them that for however long you can, Or if your dad wants to, I don't know, my dad likes to paint, then, paint with your dad. Be with the people that you love in the way that they want you to be, if it's healthy. Yeah.
I think that's some really nice piece of wisdom right there. Okay, so there are no new questions, so let me come back on screen. Thank you so much, Isabelle. That was such a great reading, and also it was lovely talking to you. Again, for those who would like to purchase a copy of Daddydaughter Day, just click on the green purchase button directly below the viewer screen. It will take you to our website where you can complete your purchase. Also, a replay of this conversation will be available within an hour using the same link. So if you have family or friends who were unable to make it tonight, or if you tuned in late, don't worry, there will be a replay available. And I think that about covers it. Thank you again, Isabelle. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and stay safe, everyone.
And I want to do another plug to purchasing this book from your bookstore, because to support our local stores right now is just so important, to be mindful of, where we're spending our money. So yeah, purchase from this button right here.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.